Hello and welcome to AA Computers and Technology. So I'm fed up with doing my AP summer assignments. I've spent like 3 hours on those today and I'm just zoning out. So I decided I would go ahead and make a video. And if you guys have been checking my website, you know that this computer is on there in the new arrival section. And this is the Gateway 832 GM desktop PC. So I actually picked up this desktop computer for free. This man had it in his trash pile. I asked about it. He said he found it on the curb and he was planning to run a flight simulator on it. I guess he didn't want to deal with it, or he was just fed up with it or something, and he put it in his trash pile. And he said I could go ahead and take it off his hands, and that is exactly what I did. Because even if it didn't work, I could part it out. He told me that it had been laying out in the rain for a couple days, which when it comes to computers like this, it doesn't really matter unless they're on, because they won't short out. If they're just sitting out in the rain, all you have to do is dry them out, and then you can fire them right back up and they are good to go. So let's go ahead and start with the outside of this computer. This is a very large BTX case. Gateway designed this computer to run very quietly, and it still does despite its age. And also, as you can see, the front panel of this computer is completely gone, which is weird. I mean, how do you lose a whole front panel of a computer? Do you just rip it off and throw it somewhere and ignore it? I have no idea, but as you can see, it's not there. As we move up to the front, you can see there is a DVD drive, a CD drive. Neither of these are functional. There is a media card reader right here. There are 2 card slots. And it's too dark to see anything because the lighting in this room is horrible. Let me see. That's a bit better. You can see the 2 card slots right there, and then there is 1 USB port. If we move further down, you can see there are 2 more USB ports right here, an audio out jack and an audio in jack. So a quick correction to the original video clip. I blame this on the lighting, which is technically my fault. But these are not USB ports. These are actually FireWire ports. 2 FireWire ports on this little panel right here. So 1 USB port right here, and then we have our 2 FireWire ports. The sides of the computer are pretty plain. As you can see on this side, there's a info pane right here, which I will post a high definition picture up in just a second. And on this side of the computer, there is absolutely nothing. It's just a blank black side panel. And speaking of HD photos, if you would like to see more HD images of this computer, because I know sometimes, especially with this fixed focus camera, at times the video can be a bit blurry. So if you want to see some great HD images, you can go ahead and check out my website. I will post a link in the description, and I will have a lot of good HD images there for you guys, so you can check out this computer and get a better look at it. So on the back of the computer, you can see 2 outtake vents. One is for the power supply and one is for the computer itself. There's a Windows serial number right here, which you guys can go ahead and steal, because I am never going to use it. So that's yours. Right here, you can see we have, how many USB ports is that? 2, 4, 6 USB ports, 1 Ethernet port, multiple audio jacks. There is a parallel port, VGA, and then serial. And right here we have our 2 PS2 ports for keyboard and mouse. And then on the back panel where the slots are, I'm not actually sure what this is. This might be a Win TV card, maybe? I don't remember. I opened this a while ago and now I've lost it. I think this is a Win TV card. And then here's a modem all the way at the bottom. Oh man, you see this is the bottom of the computer, and as you can see, 2 of the feet are missing. So if you were to put this up right on a desk, it would be really annoying, because all you would hear is the computer moving back and forth, because it is uneven due to the fact that the feet are missing. Alright, let's go ahead and open this thing up. Alright, so that's not a bad view. Okay, so let's go ahead and pop this computer open. As you can see right here, there's a little hatch, or latch. All I had to do is pull back on that. And then I believe you should just be able to move the panel back. And we are getting the panel off. Oh, this is silly. There we go. Ta-da! Panel is off, and we are inside. Let's go ahead and get a better look at everything. So here we are, and look at that big clump of cables right there. That's a complete mess. So let's go ahead and start from the top. You can see the back of our two drives right there with the IDE cable. Okay, so I finally found it. This is a Hypro 305 watt power supply. As you can see, we have our RAM right here. Let me go ahead and pull one of those sticks out so we can check out what type of RAM it is. Okay, so that RAM is absolutely filthy, but there are two sticks of this. This is a stick of 512 megabyte DDR400 RAM. So that's the first stick, and then the other stick is still in here. As you can see, it is right there. So two sticks of 512 megabyte DDR400 RAM for a total of 1 gigabyte of RAM. Underneath this plastic duct, there is the heatsink for the Pentium 4 processor running at 3 gigahertz. This processor is hyper-threaded, and I believe it is 64-bit capable. If I am right, I believe it said that somewhere in the BIOS. But you can see the heatsink right there. Maybe I can pull this up. Okay, I'm not going to deal with that right now. Maybe not. And then back here we have the Cmos battery, and it is going to be an absolute pain to get any sort of video inside this PC because of this big clump right here. I'm not sure if the previous owner did that or was manufactured right that. Either way, whoever put it together was a complete idiot. Yeah. Alright, so we have a Seagate 250 gigabyte hard drive rotating at 7,200 RPM right here. This is a Sata hard drive, and if we look over here, ooh, look at that. We have 4 Sata ports, if I can get the focus right. There you go, isn't that awesome? So 4 SATA ports. I believe that is that's the south bridge right there, and I think the north bridge is under the heatsink. I also forgot to mention that this computer has integrated graphics. Not sure how great they are. They're probably garbage, but we won't know until we test it out, right? There is I was right, this is a WinTV card right here. Ta-da! So that's our WinTV card, I got that right. And then that is our modem right there. And then if you look here, ooh, look at that. We have a PCI Express slot, so that's sweet. If I wanted to, I guess I could throw in a cheap graphics card and turn this into some kind of mid-range gaming rig. Now, some of you are probably laughing at that because no one believes in the Pentium 4. But actually, if you threw in, I don't know, a $50 NVIDIA graphic card, you could probably get Skyrim to run at medium settings on this. No joke. So, I might have to try that just to prove some people wrong. That would be a fun little experiment. But let's go ahead and get on. So let's go ahead and take one last look around this computer, see if I missed anything, and then we will go ahead and boot this into an OS and see how well it runs. So let's start from the bottom and work our way up, as usual. Let me get the focus right on this. Alright, so you can see there's an extra IDE port right there. There's some capacitors over here, those look good. Actually, let's go ahead and check all the capacitors to see if there's any leakage while we're going around here. All these capacitors look good. Oh, that'd be so sweet if they were all good. That bank over there looks fine. Haven't seen any bad ones yet. And under here, that's another IDE port for the DVD and CD drives. More capacitors, all of them in good shape. Oh, let's make it all the way around without spotting anything bad. Those look good? Oh, no way, they're all good, which is sweet. No capacitor replacement for this board, which is awesome. Usually when you get an old computer like this, there's 1 or 2 capacitors that have gone bad, especially in these P4 machines, because these get hot. But surprisingly, these are all in great shape. Look at that. wasn't that a pleasant surprise? And let's take a look at the airflow design on this. As you can see, the air comes in from the front of the computer right here. It blows down this duct, past the CPU heatsink, and while it does that, it's also cooling the Northbridge heatsink and the various components right next to that. I don't think the cards get much airflow though, because it seems like a pretty straight shot. It goes down here and then out there, out the back fan right there. So as you can see, the aspect ratio of the camera and the aspect ratio of the monitor are a bit different, so this is going to be kind of weird. But let's go ahead and get started anyway. Actually, I already did a take of this video and I forgot to plug the computer in. Can you believe that? I mean, yeah. So we have our PS2 keyboard right here, and then our USB wireless mouse right here. And first, we are going to boot into the BIOS and check out some hardware specifications. And you know what, I'm going to turn my air purifier off so you guys can hear how quiet this computer is. But when you first boot it up, the fans spin at full speed until it gets to the power on self-test, and then they slow down. So it's going to be loud at first. Yeah, yeah, you can't hear it at all. Okay. Come on, go into the BIOS. There we go. Alright, so we are in the BIOS. Let me get this camera up to the screen so we can actually see what's going on, because this is just awful. Alright. So, from my perspective, that looks pretty good. Alright, so we see our processor is a Intel Pentium 4 running at 3 GHz. As I said, our RAM is running at 400 megahertz earlier. Total memory, 1 gig. Cache size is about 2 megabytes. And there's our product name, I already said that. And then the BIOS version. And of course, if you can't see any of this, you can go check out the high definition images on my website. That's why I put up a website, because this camera is really annoying. Yes, it would have been easier to buy a new camera. Don't say that in the comments. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and go through the BIOS and see if there's anything else interesting that you guys might want to see. And then we can go ahead and check out Ubuntu. Alright, here's a little bit more information. Some things that we didn't see before. The system bus is set at 800 megahertz. Let's see, what else did we see? The RAM is operating in dual channel mode. Our hyper-threading is enabled. And then really that's about it. So let's go ahead and boot into the OS, which is already installed on this hard drive, which, as I said earlier, is Ubuntu, a very early version of Ubuntu. So this is going to be, I believe, attempt number 5, and I'm going to try to talk a bit softer than I have been talking because it is currently about 12 o'clock in the morning. So the first attempt was with the Ubuntu image on the hard drive, and that failed. I don't know why, because it worked previously, but for some reason it just didn't want to boot up, so I gave up on that. Second attempt was Ubuntu from a flash drive, this exact flash drive, but I downloaded the 64-bit version, and that didn't work, because I wanted to demonstrate the fact that 64-bit software, or a 64-bit OS, could run on this computer, because it's advertised on the panel right here that it is 64-bit capable. But that failed, so I thought maybe it's wrong, maybe it only can run 32-bit software. So I put Ubuntu 14.04 32-bit version on this flash drive. That failed. Then I tried Worry Puppy 32-bit, and that failed as well. So now I am moving on to Windows 7. Yes, Windows 7 is on this 4 GB USB flash drive right now, and I'm going to try to boot from it and install Windows 7 on the hard drive, so hopefully this works. I'm getting very frustrated, but I put way too much time into this video to give up now, so I'm going to continue until I get something on this computer working, so I can give it a little demonstration to you guys. And let's go ahead and try to boot this and see if it even starts up. Oh gosh, here we go. Again. And I'm going to have to edit this video to death because there are so many cuts, just because I've had so many issues with this computer. I mean, I'm hoping it turns out alright. But right now Windows is loading files, so it appears we are getting somewhere. If this doesn't work, I don't know what else to do. I really don't want to scrap this video, but I mean, if Windows 7 doesn't work, that might be what I'll have to do. Oh, it's so late. Stuttering because I'm tired. Alright, well that's promising. Did it get my, oh, there's my mouse. Oh, look at this awful resolution. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and try to set it up. I'm not going to walk you guys through the whole process because I don't have enough memory for that. That would just take ages. So I'm going to install Windows 7, probably watch SNL. I'll probably finish the rest of this video tomorrow because it is very late and I would like to go to bed because I have to work tomorrow. So let's get this done. So that was actually pretty fast. It took 20 minutes to fully install Windows 7 on this hard drive, or on this computer's hard drive from this flash drive. And now all I had to do is set up the system itself. So I had to type in a username and then set a couple other settings, and then we're good to go. So that was a lot faster than I was expecting. Thank goodness that worked. So the system is online, and I'm going to try to download a couple things before I demonstrate the system, and I might update everything because this Windows 7 image is really old. I think it's from 2009, I believe, so I'm going to have to update everything. Install Google Chrome, obviously, because I'm not using this old version of Internet Explorer. I'm going to try to install the graphics driver for this computer if there is one online. Oh look, Google Chrome already installed, so that's neat. And then we'll see what this little PC can do, probably tomorrow morning because it's getting late. So as you can see, Windows 7 is fully up and running. I cannot find the display driver for this computer, unfortunately, so we're going to have to use the generic Windows driver, which works fine. I haven't had any issues with that. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate a couple programs running on this computer. I am somewhat limited in my program choice because this is Windows 7 Service Pack 1 and it's missing a lot of the new packages that a lot of the newer programs need to function properly. And Windows Update is not working for some odd reason, so I'm just not going to deal with that right now. We're just going to run programs that do not require the new packages. So let's go ahead and get started. First, I have Photoshop on a flash drive. Run. And while we're doing this, why don't I go ahead and open up Task Manager. So you can see it's reading that we have 2 cores, which would be the hyper-threading, but technically we only have 1 core. And then we're only using half the available memory right now. So I'm just going to push that off to the side. And we are in Photoshop. Ta-da! Okay, I'm going to minimize Task Manager. Let's go ahead and create a new file. No, I don't want to do that. New file. I just want to demonstrate to you guys that Photoshop does, in fact, work. Let's go ahead and just paint something real quick. Oh, that's awful. Alright, so there you go. Photoshop functions on this computer, this Pentium 4 machine. With the integrated graphics, and it's not that bad. It's actually pretty responsive. So that's enough of that. let's go ahead and check out Adobe Dreamweaver. So now I'm opening Adobe Dreamweaver. There you go, as you can see right there. You can check our performance. So let's see how long this will take. There we go, that took a while, but Adobe Dreamweaver is now up. Let's go ahead and just create a new HTML file so I can just show you that this works. And there we go. Ta-da! So, Adobe Dreamweaver does indeed function on this computer. Let's get out of that. Next, let's go ahead and try to watch a YouTube video on Chrome. So I'm going to open up Google Chrome. Let's go ahead and go to YouTube. And of course I'm going to have to watch one of my videos so I don't get into any copyright trouble. And Chrome is nice and fast on this computer. Unfortunately, I do not have the drivers installed for the audio, so there will be no sound. And let's go full screen. And look at that video is actually pretty smooth. Now, this is set to 480p. Let's go ahead and bump this up to HD quality, shall we? Yeah, and that stopped it a little bit. Those integrated graphics are struggling to keep up. So it seems like HD video may be out of the question for these integrated graphics. I'm going to bump it back down. There we go. That's at 480p. Yep. And let's go ahead and skip ahead real quick. So that works just fine. So here are the Windows Experience Index ratings. It actually didn't do too bad. The only thing dragging it down are the integrated graphics. But everything else scored pretty well if you keep in mind how old this computer is. For our processor, we got a score of 3.7. For our RAM, we got a score of 4.5. And then for our hard drive, we got a 5.9, which isn't a big surprise. It's actually a fast hard drive, rotating at 7,200 RPM. So those are our Windows Experience Index scores. So that's about it for this video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and please do not forget to like this video. Expect pictures to be up on the website soon, and I will post a link to that in the description. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time after I edit this video to death.